Hello. Um, this is the third of our Saturday morning meditations. So if you're rejoining us from one of the other two, welcome back. If this is your first, you're very welcome. My name's Shaki Padar, and each week we're doing three different meditations. At 8 o'clock, we're doing a body awareness meditation, which you can even do lying in bed or on a chair. Or sitting on a mat. It doesn't matter. And the second one at 9 o'clock is a meditation called Mindfulness of Breathing, which the Buddha taught, which is to do with just following the breath. And it helps our minds, our busy minds, to settle and to find some peace in the world. And the third meditation that we're going to do today is a meditation called the Metta bhavana. And metta means, it's untranslatable in a way, but it means something like friendliness, kindness, acceptance, support, and it's often translated as love, but it's not love in the normal romantic sense. It's a very special kind of love. It's a kind of unconditional love, a love that expects nothing back. We just love for the sake of loving, and just try and have a sense of love and kindness to people without expecting anything in return. And we do it for ourselves, which is really, really important. We are often very self-critical of ourselves. So this is a way of balancing that out. We are human beings and we're fallible and we're not perfect, even though we might think we ought to be, even though the media often tells us we ought to be. But we're not, and we make mistakes, and we can be kind to ourselves about that. And we should be kind to ourselves. So this practice is a way of trying to move towards that, a sense of real self-value and self-kindness. And we also try and give loving kindness to our friends. And so that's another stage. And we also practice in this meditation as giving a sense of loving kindness to people we don't even know very well. And in the fourth stage of it, we have a sense of trying to give as much acceptance and goodwill, sense of goodwill as we can to even those people that we don't get on with, which traditionally are called our enemies. But it shouldn't be enemies in the, we don't want to try and wish somebody well who we have a real problem with. If we're just beginning to meditate, that would be too much of an ask. So we're just trying to wish people well to people who make us uncomfortable, or we would rather avoid, really, or we just don't get on with somehow. And then in the final stage, we just wish all these four people well that we've brought to mind. That's ourselves, a good friend, somebody we don't know very well, somebody we don't particularly get on with, and we try and wish everybody well, all those four, in sort of a balanced way as much as we can. And then we try and radiate that sense of loving kindness or friendliness, acceptance out into the whole world. And that's the point, really, of this meditation, to have a sense of wishing well for everybody, whoever they are, wherever they are, whatever lifestyle they have, whether we like them or not. And if we can do that, it's a very radical practice, because if we can do that, what happens is that we change. We become much nicer people. We become, not that we might not be very nice now, but we become even nicer. We become softer and more compassionate, and the world responds back to us. because we're acting in those ways, this is karma really, because we're acting in kinder, more loving ways to other people, not getting caught up in arguments so much, not getting angry so much. Because we're doing that, then the world behaves back to us in the same way. So it has the potential, this practice, to completely change our lives if we do it regularly. And it's particularly important, I think, at the moment. So there's 5 stages, as I say, but I think this morning what I'm going to do is we'll do all 5 stages, but I want to concentrate much more on the first stage. In this lockdown, in this world we're living in at the moment, there's a very big opportunity to see how we respond to what's going on and to work with that. So we may feel a lot of anxiety, or we may just feel anxiety from time to time, or we may be okay. But for most of us, I think there is a sense of discomfort. We might be enjoying extra time at home, but also there's the sense of not being able to do the things we like. There's the sense of not knowing what's going to happen quite in the future. Um, and actually, that in a way, that is a gift for us, because we might think we know what's going to happen in the future in normal times, but actually we don't. We don't have a clue what's going to happen, even in the next 10 minutes, really. It might work out the way we think it's going to work out, but sometimes it doesn't. And we all know that things go wrong, things don't go the way we expect them to go. And then we have this sense of disappointment and a sense of upset sometimes, and it jars us a lot. So what we're trying to do in this meditation is really just accept the way things are, and when our mind starts worrying about things or getting carried away, or our emotions click in and we get a bit anxious, or a bit maybe a bit ratty, or uncomfortable with the way things are. This is a way of actually dealing with what's happening. So all too often, if we get anxious or angry or upset, we get completely caught up in that. And when we get completely caught up in these strong negative emotions, it creates a real deep sense of suffering for us. It's not pleasant, is it, when we're anxious or when we're angry? Our bodies get very tense, and our minds sort of go into a whirl of just emotional trauma, really. And it's very hard. And at those times, it really helps to just try and let go of whatever our minds are telling us, whatever stories are coming up in our minds, and just to tune in with our bodies and tune into the feelings, the raw sensations, the unpleasant raw sensations in our body, and just have a real sense of kindness to them, to bring a sense of loving attention to ourselves. And we can do this even if we're not feeling like that, if we're just feeling a bit bored, or if we're just feeling okay, actually, if we're feeling good about ourselves, we can still do this. It's a very, very valuable exercise. So I'm not going to say much more. I think it's a good idea to take us just through the meditation, and you can explore what's going on, and just see how this particular meditation works. Now, I know some of you that are listening have done this before, and that's great. And if you haven't done it before, just let yourself into it. Don't expect too much to begin with. It needs practice, and it's a meditation where you find your own way of doing it over a period of time. But it is a very exceptionally valuable practice. Okay. So we'll begin, as we always begin, with a period of settling in. And so if you'd like to make sure that you're comfortable and that you're in your meditation posture, you can be sitting on a chair, you can be lying on the floor or on a bed, you can be sitting on a mat. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is to be relaxed and comfortable, to try and stay alert as well. If you're sitting in the chair, it's good to sit up straight, or if you're on the floor. If you're lying on the bed, it's quite a good idea to have your feet flat on the whatever you're lying on, so that your legs are sort of bent, and that's kind to your back, and it helps keep you more alert as well. So we'll begin. And do this with your eyes closed or open. Personally, I prefer to have them closed for this meditation. So we'll begin as always by just tuning in to ourselves. How are we? How are we feeling right now? And in this meditation, it's, as in all, it's really important to be honest about how we are. We're not trying to make ourselves into something we aren't. We're just trying to look at ourselves with complete honesty. So, what are your mental states today? What are they right now? Are they good? Are they positive and comfortable? Or maybe they're negative in some way, not so comfortable. Maybe there's a darkness, or maybe not. But just being completely honest with yourself about where you're beginning from. It's absolutely okay, whatever's happening. We are where we are. That's the truth of the matter. So first of all, just having a sense of complete acceptance of how you are right now. You don't want you to be any different. You can't be any different. And then how are we in the body? What's your body feeling like? What are the bare sensations in your body? There might be an achiness, or you might have various sensations in your belly and your abdomen and your chest. Could be a tightness, heaviness, churning. And some of these sensations might be very, very subtle. And they might be pleasant or unpleasant or something in between. So whatever they are, what I would like you to try not to do is to get caught up in stories about these feelings. If we can just see them as sensations, just bare, raw sensations in the body, and be with them with a sense of real kindness. We all too often try and push away unpleasant sensations and unpleasant thoughts. which are also in a way sensations. So we're trying not to do that, we're just trying to see them clearly and to accept them. So now bringing attention to the lower chest, right at the bottom of the rib cage, in the middle of the rib cage. This is a place called the sternum, where the two halves of the rib cage meet. And just behind here is our heart center, our chitta, our heart mind, the place of all positive emotions. And this is a really important part of our bodies, which we may and may not have actually experienced too much. Actually, we will have done, but we may not have noticed. So when we feel love, it's this part of our body that warms, that opens up, that feels good. And as you breathe in and out, if you just notice it, just tune in to this area, particularly on the in-breath. You might notice a really, really pleasant sensation. And if you do, don't try and hold on to it, just notice it, just keep noticing it. Allow it to be there. If you can't notice it, just bring to mind somebody that you really love. A person or a pet, someone you really love, and just see what happens. So if you can feel this sense of love in the heart center, just nurturing it, nourishing it, allowing it to grow. Allowing it to radiate through the whole of your being. Not forcing it, not making too much effort. Just concentrating on this heart center and allowing whatever positive feelings arise to be there and to grow. So this is the meditation of loving kindness, the metta bhavana. And in the first stage, all we're doing is bringing loving attention to ourselves. Just to how we are right now at this moment. And in fact, all we have to do to take care of ourselves, to love ourselves, is to bring attention to ourselves. bring non-judgmental awareness to the way we are right now. Attention or awareness is naturally full of love. And we can reflect that as human beings, we are not perfect. We make mistakes. We say things that we don't mean. We think black thoughts. We get carried away sometimes with excitement. We make mistakes. But we're always doing our best. There's never a time when we aren't doing our best to be happy. And it's okay not to be perfect. So can we have a real sense of acceptance of our perfect imperfectness? Sense of kindness and tolerance and patience to our beings, trying to make the way through a troubled, often difficult world. And just doing our best to do that. Can we notice any self-criticism that comes up? And just let it go. And just bring a sense of kindness to any pain we might feel. Can we be a caring friend to ourselves? Can we be the friend that looks after us, looks after ourselves when we're in trouble and in pain? Can we even take care of the child that might sometimes arise within us this inner child who might be upset or hurt or angry? Can we look after this inner child? Can we give it love and care and understanding? Can we have a real sense of well-wishing to ourselves, however imperfect we might be at times? Can we still have a sense of patience that we are doing our best? Can we help ourselves to make our way through the world, particularly at this present time? And we could wish ourselves well with 3 traditional phrases and really mean them. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. And a sense of real goodwill towards ourselves, our whole being. In the second part of this meditation, we're now going to bring to mind a good friend, someone we really care about. And we can do this by bringing an image of them in our imagination, or if we can't do that, which not everyone can, we can just bring to mind how it feels to be in their presence, or maybe remembering a particular attribute of them, like a laugh, or the way they talk, or the way they smile. And just noticing how we feel when we bring this good friend to mind. We probably, or we might at least, have a sense of deep caring and love, positive emotion for this person. Occasionally something else might happen. It doesn't really matter. If more negative feelings arise, then that's okay as well. Just the main thing is to just notice how we feel about this person, this good friend. This good friend who is a human being, tender human being just like us. And we know that they aren't always happy. We know that they have difficulties in their life. and that sometimes life is hard, and at other times it's really good, just like us. So can we wish them well? Can we have a sense of real solidarity with them as they go through their lives? Can we radiate a sense of deep love and care towards them? And wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. So letting go of the good friend for just now, and bringing to mind somebody we don't know very well, but who we see quite often, maybe postman or postwoman, bus driver, probably not much at the moment, a neighbour, or somebody that we pass by in the street quite regularly. Just bringing them to mind in an image or a sense of who they are, the best way we can manage. And just noticing how we feel about them. Can we connect with them in any way? And for some of us, this might be very difficult. We may even have a sense of indifference towards them, almost as if they're two-dimensional, because we don't know them. They don't mean anything to us. We don't have any connection with their lives. So if that's the case, just honestly noticing that it's not wrong, it's just the way we are. We usually need to have some interest in somebody's life, they need to have a connection with our lives as well. So this can be quite a difficult stage. So while acknowledging any sense of non-connection or minimal connection, maybe we can try and see beyond that. Try and see that they are real human beings. They have blood flowing through the veins like we do. They suffer from pain and disappointment. They enjoy pleasure and joys. Sometimes their lives are ups and downs, and they're growing older every day, just like we are. And just like us, one day they're going to die. Can we care for them in some way, even though we don't know them very well? Can we care about their welfare? Can we have a sense of real goodwill towards this another human being, just like ourselves? And particularly at the moment when they're going through probably much the same things that we're going through. Can we wish them well? Maybe using the traditional phrases, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. And in the fourth stage, we're going to bring to mind someone we have difficulty with. Someone not someone who we have fallen out with massively, just someone who we find it difficult to be around. Someone who we don't really get on with, who irritates us maybe. And bringing them to mind as an image or as an idea, as kind of maybe even bringing to mind the thing that we don't like about them. And just noticing with complete honesty how that feels. Maybe this person, thinking of this person, irritates us in some way, makes us feel a little bit angry or uncomfortable. Just acknowledging that with kindness. We're not trying to change that in any way. But even though they make us feel like this, even though we can't help it and we need to be kind to ourselves for any pain they're producing us. Even though they make us feel this way, can we still have a sense of goodwill towards them as fellow human beings, going through what we go through, often suffering, sometimes really enjoying what they do, having disappointments just like us, and wonderful surprises just like us. They have people who love them just like we do. And they too have likes and dislikes. They're just fallible, tender human beings like us. So can we wish them well, in spite of how we feel? May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. And in the fifth and final stage, we're going to bring all four people together. Ourselves, the good friend, the stranger, and the person we have difficulty with. Maybe imagining all four of us together, sitting together, and just having a sense of, as much of sense of love and kindness as you can towards all four equally, particularly including yourself and the difficult person. Particularly in these present times, we're all in the same boat to a greater or lesser extent. We all have our concerns and our worries. Some of us might be suffering more than others. But we're all doing our best to live our lives. So now we can also radiate a sense of loving kindness to the whole world, the whole suffering world, to all the people touched by grief, to all those that are ill, to all those, including ourselves, who might be anxious about becoming ill. We can bring to mind our wonderful health workers, the people in the NHS, the carers, going through their own difficulties, doing their best. Can we bring a sense of loving kindness to all the key workers, the people still working in the shops, on transport, moving goods around, the buses, trains, keeping the country going in the background, all those in working from home, running organisations and businesses, all the utility workers. Everything is so interrelated. We owe so much to other people. So can we have a sense of real goodwill towards all these people? And can we extend that goodwill to all human beings in the world, wherever they are? People in many ways just like us. And even further, going even further, a sense of loving kindness to all animals, all birds, all beings that live in the water, all insects, all living beings, every one of them doing their best to survive and be happy. Wishing them all well. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May all beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings encounter happiness and the causes of happiness. Well, I hope that was useful. This is a practice that you can do anywhere, actually. It's quite a good practice if you're walking down the street and you see someone, and well, for me, sometimes I see someone and this some kind of judgment can come up in my mind, and as soon as that happens, I just try and notice it and bring a sense of awareness to the other person, and inevitably that brings a sense of kindness towards them. And if somebody rubs me up the wrong way, as can happen, then I can do the same thing. We can all do that. If somebody irritates us or rubs us up the wrong way or doesn't agree with us even, we can just notice that and just bring awareness to them as human beings. And that awareness inevitably can bring with it a sense of kindness and love. So we can practice this every minute of every day. And it's very radical. And the more we do it, the more the world will respond to us and be kind back. And our lives will become much more peaceful, and much happiness will arise. So that's what we're trying to do, really. So just a note about who we are. I'm Shakipada. I think I said that at the beginning. And I'm part of the York Buddhist group. And we used to meet at the Quaker Meeting House. You may have seen on Facebook or the press that we're hoping to get planning permission for premises on Gilligate. And we're a fairly new tradition. We started in 1968, and we are a bit different to a lot of Buddhist traditions because we teach the whole of Buddhism, and we try and do it in a very practical, straightforward way, which is much more accessible, we think, to people in the West. So in a way, our founder, Sangharakshita, translated it from the Eastern concept of Buddhism to one that is much more available to to our kind of culture. So we'll be doing this meditations every week on Saturday mornings, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And you're very welcome to join us at any time. If you want to know any more about what we do, we have a website, and it's yorkbuddhistgroup.com. And so have a look at that if you want. You can join us on Facebook. And if you'd like to make a small donation in appreciation of these meditations, you don't have to, but if you want to, that would be very, very welcome. You can do that online with your credit or debit card on any page of our website. There's a button at the bottom. So the main thing is keep coming and joining us, keep meditating, and thank you for your company this morning. I know some of you have been with us all morning, and that's great, and it's just good to see you. It would be really funny doing this on my own. Okay, and if you want to watch these videos again, they'll be on our page, and you're welcome to keep watching and keep enjoying the meditations. So thank you very much, and have a really good weekend. Enjoy the rest of the day and tomorrow and the rest of your life. Good to see you. Bye.